Hi, everyone, and welcome to Sandra Cruz Unfiltered. My name is Sandra Cruz, and today I'm going to talk about the magnitude of owning your story. When we're dealing with trauma, especially the very deep, intense trauma like sexual assault, rape, accidents, loss, all of that, and any other story, sometimes it is difficult to integrate it, especially when we're dealing with sexual trauma. We wish it didn't happen. We wish so badly we could go back in time and make it unhappen. But of course, it doesn't work like that. So our story haunts us. It's like we can't get away from it. We're trying to run away from it, trying to forget it, trying to erase it. It's just not working because this is not how this works. Because whatever happened in your life becomes part of your life story. You cannot outrun yourself. You cannot outrun your past. You cannot outrun your life story. Here's the thing. As long as you're trying to run away from your story, you're not owning it. You don't want to face it. You want to believe it never happened. It's just a nightmare. But unless you are really integrating as part of your story, this nightmare will haunt you for the rest of your life. You will be running for the rest of your life. What are you running from? Yourself. You're running from your past. You're running from what someone else did to you. And this is so tough. Living a life like this. Just imagine you're constantly trying to keep it together. You're constantly trying to behave as if everything is okay, and yet every little thing is triggering you because you're running away from your story. You're trying so hard to make it unhappen. You're trying so hard to believe it doesn't matter anymore. It's in the past, so why would it matter? And yet it does. Because the thing is, your mind and your body, they want you to acknowledge, yes, this happened to me. This was done to me. This is part of my life story. And you know what the beautiful thing is? Well, not beautiful, actually, the most powerful, the sheer magnitude of owning your story is once you own it, you're at peace. Because once you own your story, once you accept, yes, this has happened to me. Yes, this is part of my life story. Yes, someone chose to do this to me. You no longer need to run. Your story loses its power. Because what's really going on is your story is not haunting you. Your mind, your body, your soul needs you to accept that what happened really happened, that it was real. And once it is real, it no longer needs to be acknowledged. The part of your story that is haunting you just wants to be acknowledged. It wants to be understood. Because when you're running from something, you want it to be a bad dream. But at the same time, you know it's not. And this inner turmoil is causing all the friction, all the triggers, all the fear that someone could find out and you don't want to talk about it. There's fear, there's shame, there's guilt. Because when we're dealing with trauma, someone who did something to us, no matter what that is, we cannot fathom that someone would ever consciously decide to do something like this. So the only reason this could have happened because of something that we did, but we didn't. Never. Whatever happened, no matter the story, it was never your fault. And owning that, understanding that, is the most amazing thing you can do for yourself. Now, when I say owning, I do not mean take responsibility. Taking responsibility is something completely different. Taking responsibility means you're taking responsibility for your story, means there is something that you did that made this happen. Not true. Owning your story means accepting, yes, this happened to me. Yes, this is part of my life story. But taking responsibility is, I had fault in that. There are things that I did that caused the situation. When someone attacks you in any way, or someone hurts you, someone makes you believe you're less than what you are or who you are, none of this is your fault. It's all their choice. So there's nothing to take responsibility for. But own your story and you'll set yourself free. Own your story and you will find peace from your past. Own your story and you can heal. Owning your story is the most profound action you can take in your trauma healing journey because this will transform your whole life. You will find peace with your story. Owning your story means, yes, it happens. I can only repeat that. Yes, it happened. It is real. I'm owning it. And that will bring you peace. Simply because your story does not need to chase you to be acknowledged anymore. You're owning it. You're finding peace. I can tell you with my story, it took a long time for me to own it. I suppressed it for so many years. I didn't want to think about it. It was making me physically ill sometimes. Thinking about the moment I was raped by the best friend of my boyfriend back then, it made me nauseous. I could remember everything he did. I tried to run away from it. I sabotaged every relationship I had after that. But then I sat down because I realized it's not working anymore. Running away is not working because I'm standing in my own way. I'm sabotaging my life. All my dreams that I had were just flying out the window. Nothing worked. It wasn't a great life. And then I sat down and I decided I was going to heal. Back then, what I didn't realize was that once I owned my story, I could rise above it. My business is called Rise Above Your Story for exactly that reason. Because once you own your story, that is what you're doing. As long as you're not owning your story, you can't rise above it. You will run away from it as far and wide as you can, but you cannot outrun yourself. You cannot outrun your past. You can only face it and own it and make peace with it. And that is the most profound thing you can do for yourself and for everybody else. With everybody else, I mean your partner, your children. Just imagine raising your children from a healed mindset, how empowering it is for your children when you can teach them that fear is an illusion simply because you conquered your fear. Own your story and it will change your life forever. I do hope that this video inspired you to take a closer look at what you're running away from. Whatever it is, I hope you can own it someday. If you feel stuck or if my video triggered you, well, as the trauma therapist, I'm saying good. Because triggering you is my job. Because triggering you means there's something within you that needs healing. And if this video was triggering in any way, if you created an aha moment and you feel stuck or lost in what to do next, please look beneath the video. There is a link to my Calendly page. Reach out, let's have a free consultation, and let's talk about how we can work together and help you heal. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And always remember, trauma is not a life sentence. You have the power to heal. Bye.